want to explain to you a little game that I played with myself for most of my career, and I think this was the big difference maker in my results in life, and I call it the execution game. And what this game is me recognizing every single area that I'm derping. And by derping, I mean me wanting to go into the autopilot parts of my brain, or me wanting to be numb, or me being told how to think. And what I do is, as an active practice, kind of like a meditation, I recognize when it is that I'm doing this, and I try to snap myself out of it. Now, what is it exactly that I mean by derping? Well, if you go to a restaurant, for example, oftentimes if you ask the waiter or waitress for a little change in your order, something that's not in their autopilot, you can kind of guarantee that it's not going to come the way that you altered it. Sometimes it will, but a lot of the time it won't. I shouldn't say guarantee, but a lot of the time it won't. It really surprise you. You know, you might say, hey, could you add tomatoes onto my hamburger? And they'll say, oh, of course. And you'll say, are you sure you can add tomatoes on the hamburger? They say yes. And they bring it back to you, and there's no tomatoes on the hamburger. Why? Because they're in autopilot. Or things like wanting to be numb. I think a lot of us are traumatized from our upbringing. And so rather than having true joy as our version of entertainment, instead what we want is to just kind of zone out. So the idea of the execution game is recognizing that we tend to want to zone out, we tend to want to derp, we tend to want to go on autopilot, we tend to just try to numb ourselves, and this is not really a way to live. And so what happens is that because we don't actively talk about this, not something we actively talk about, it's very, very difficult to get results because we're unaware of it. So I try to not teach this because I feel like it will get misquoted. I feel like it'll be taken in a way that I don't intend, and it will be misquoted. Frankly, a lot of what I teach is like that. But what I tell myself, I'm just going to put this on me. I'm not even going to put it on you, but I'm putting it on myself. What I say to myself is, I'm an idiot. My brain is broken. My brain barely works. I am dumb. I basically am a complete moron. I just say this to myself again and again and again. Right? Now, when you hear that, you think to yourself, oh, that's not self-love, right? In traditional personal growth, that's not self-love, or that's nasty, or that's bad. That's not me doing that at all. If anything, that's a reflection that I think highly of myself, and I don't mind to tease myself a little bit. That's really what it's reflecting. It's not me sitting there crying in a fetal ball of denial like, oh, I'm bad, or anything like that. I frankly view that as a joke. But it's a joke that I tell myself, like, look, I'm completely ridiculous, I'm a freaking moron, because once I know that, once I understand that I have the attention span of a gnat, then what happens is I can begin to adjust. And when I start making those adjustments, I feel like sky's the limit. So the joke that I would say is, if you can admit that you're a complete idiot right now, if you could put your hand and say, oh, I'm dumb, I'm a moron, my brain doesn't work, if you can do that right now, you're instantly a millionaire. That's sort of, I say this to my friends. I say it privately because I just know it's going to get misquoted. But I joke with this to my friends all the time. I go, if you could just admit right now that you are a total moron, you are instantly a millionaire. You have set in motion a snowball that will go down the hill, and you will be a millionaire instantly. It's like 18 months away that you're an instant millionaire. 18 months, pretty fast for a millionaire. Instant millionaire. Basically, if you could just say that you're a complete, utter moron. Again, this will get misquoted. For sure, this video will be misquoted. They'll take it out of context. But you see my point, right? Behind the scenes, what I'm privately saying to my friends, I'm like, say we're idiots right now. We're dumb. Say it now. We are morons. And in saying that, again, it's a joke. It's a playful joke in recognition that we actually believe in our own potential and are not easily offended. But it's also a joke to remind ourselves, you know what? Usually if you have a great idea and you don't write it down, you're going to lose it. Usually if you put your keys down in the wrong place, like where you don't normally put it, later you're going to have to rip your house apart for 3 hours to find the frickin' keys. Usually if you don't double and triple check everything, you're going to forget something in your hotel. Your mind is always fighting you. Your mind is always trying to zone out. Your mind is always trying to be in a derp state. Your mind thinks that being numb is fun, and it's not, and it will just try to derp you out and numb you, and you've got to fight the derp. So put your hand up now. Say, I'm an idiot, and I'm going to fight the derp until the day I die. Okay, it's just like a little private joke that me and my buddies have. Just something we say as a playful joke to ourselves that we know can help us to succeed. Now, how do I know this? I do a lot of one-on-one coaching, and the one-on-one coaching that I do is with people very, very successful. What do I notice? They are writing things down. They are creating systems. They understand that their mind is not meant to focus on all of these spinning plates. We're basically meant to, I don't know, I'll just throw something out there. Maybe to live in a cave, to get some berries, to maybe to kill some meat, to hook up with the people in our tribe, to dance around a fire, and have a little fun. We're not meant for this entirely complicated life. our brain is like it's like an old school computer trying to run this really, really advanced software, and it doesn't work. And this is where things like writing things down, or things like having accountability groups, or having some kind of coach that's going to push you, or making public declarations, or doing anything that they call in personal growth, burning the boats. You probably heard that analogy. You come up on the island, you want to sack the city. Your warrior team wants to sack the city. What you do is you burn the boat so that you can't go back. Sometimes they call it throwing your hat over the fence. It is basically just this ongoing battle against the derp to become an executor. And if you can do this as a practice, what I call that is sort of this execution game. You might even call it a meditation of engagement. It's different than a meditation where you just sit there. It's a meditation where you say, you know what? I'm going to look at every single aspect of my life from top to bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see every little area that I derp. And so what you do is maybe you get an app on your smartphone, or you get a notebook, or you get a pen, or whatever. And every single time that you get lazy and you catch yourself perhaps resonating with an easy truth, perhaps, here'd be a simple example. You're watching television late at night and you say, I'm just going to rest my eyes. No, you're not. You're going to go to sleep. No, you're lying to yourself. Notice where you're lying to yourself. Maybe you put your keys down and you forget where it is. All of these little things, if you could start writing them down and making it into a game, this sort of execution game, might call it an engagement meditation. It's a practice that you have. If you can actually learn where every little place that you fall asleep is, and then you begin to write it down and become familiar with it, you are going to begin to learn how your mind works at such an insane level, to such an insane degree. And this was something that I use particularly with social skills, where what I would do is I'd spend years going out to public gatherings where I'd go meet people, I'd go say hi, I'd go make introductions. And what would happen is, as I'm going around, I would notice, this is what I would notice myself doing. Okay? I'd see myself doing this all the time. I'd walk up, and just back up a little bit for me, because I'm going to show you an example. I'd walk up, and I'd want to go say hi to somebody, but my willpower might be low, and I'm just being a wimp. And I walk up, and I'm like, it's just like I walk up the cliff. You ever done this, right? It's like you gather the willpower, and you're like, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, and you just go like that. What's happened there? It's like your prefrontal cortex that is meant to be the part of your mind that's the willpower part. It just isn't strong enough, and it makes you back down. So what I do is I'd recognize, wait a minute, that's where I become a derper. I make these excuses. I say, oh, I'm going to go see who's here. I'm going to go check out the bar. I'm going to go grab a glass of water. I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I just make excuse after excuse. Why? My mind is lying to me. And so what I did was I started tracking all these areas that my mind lies to me. Oh, maybe there's somebody across the way. Maybe somebody who I'd really like to meet, but they're surrounded by other people that intimidate me. And I'm like, oh, they're probably with them. Maybe they're dating each other. And I'd make this excuse not to say hi. But over time, what I learned is I'd be like, hey, I just yell and be fun. And usually they would just shove everyone aside and come and jump on me. And I'm like, what's up? Because I'm the greater source of energy. But look at how I lied to myself. I said, oh, I couldn't meet them. Lies, 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 lies. They're too attractive. They're not attractive enough. I should do it later. Lies and lies and lies. There is always a way. You're lying. It is your mind tricking you. And worst of all, what happens is that your reticular activation system, your RAS, your selective focus, you see these different opportunities and you keep finding things wrong with them. Oh, not attractive enough, too attractive, too intimidating, not intimidating enough. I'll do it later. Oh, they're with those people. Oh, they're with each other. Blah, 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 blah. Lies, 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 lies. That's really what I loved about going out. Frankly, the biggest thing for me with going out is, it's as a side note, it's the self-state pumping. It's the fact that I just make myself laugh. I make myself have a super fun time. I love that. But I really love just that psychological game of seeing how I'm lying to myself. And it was almost like this arena for me where I'd see where I'm lying to myself, and then I took control of that. And by the end of it, say I'd be doing a training, say I'm doing a social training, you'd see me out, and it was like I would just go immediately in, no excuses. One of my great idols is the late, great Kobe Bryant, and he's called the Mamba because he'd swerve through different obstacles and kind of find a way to the basket. It's like a snake, the Black Mamba. And I love taking him as a role model because I see him live all the time at the Staples Center in LA. And what I would do is I would almost merge through people and yell out this hilarious thing, and then a little bit of a tease, and then kind of move away a bit, and then kind of throw it back, and then kind of tease the people near, and then pull it back, engage people here, throw another one. Boom, they're over, right? I freaking love that. It's such a rush doing that. One of the most fun things in the world. Anybody who says they can't enjoy doing that, loser. It's way too fun to do that. So I say that loser thing because there's just so many people that are stuck up like, it's not fun to go out. Like, really, is that fun? No. Just chasing validation? No. It's actually fun to challenge yourself and to challenge your mind and to play the game of it. That's so enjoyable. And then to have that incredible connection. And then maybe there's people that are like, don't go, don't leave together. And you're like, you know what? Here's a fun reason to go together. You say that, you leave together, beautiful, win-win, synergistic, both enjoying it. That's the key to everything. And as you sit there, basking in the result, maybe sitting there with that person who you met, enjoying each other's company, you sit there and you say, wow, I found a solution. I was solutions-oriented. I executed. It was win-win. They enjoyed it. We both had fun. What a great experience. What an incredible experience. And that is such a rush to do that because now, not only are you having fun, but you get to offer that value to somebody else and to be synergistic and come together. Such a fun time. But again, it's that mental game, right? It's that mind game that you're playing with yourself where you're recognizing where you're making 1,000,001 excuses, where you're derping. And the problem with it, frankly, is that you burn so much mental bandwidth on like this whole, again, this whole kind of like this thing that you're doing. By the way, 200 million year old wood right there. It's hard like a rock. It's called petrified wood. We're at Petrified Wood Park. But anyway, back on track. We're shooting the backlog. I've been shooting this huge backlog of upcoming videos. So we came here to shoot this masterpiece video. And I just want to knock out a quick one for you here now to get you excited for the ones upcoming later in the year. But let's keep focused. So what would happen is, again, I see myself walking up. And just like I'd say, oh, I'll just put down the keys here. I'll just put down the keys here. But I'm not gonna remember the keys. I just gotta go to the bathroom. No, it's like you're walking off a cliff. Not gonna happen. Mastering that in your mind and just seeing the beauty of being able to come out on the other side of that is so, so, so powerful. And it's really you enjoying life. It's you having the fruits and benefits of amazing results. It's you offering value to another person who wouldn't have even got to meet you. But it's also just you waking up and having that sense of pride. That pride of knowing that you're not somebody who's at the effect of your mind, but you're at the cause. Now, the last point I want to make about this is that we call this the elephant in the rider analogy. There's a book called The Happiness Hypothesis with Jonathan Hayden. He covers this as well. And it's this idea that we think that we're in control of our mind, but we're not entirely in control of our mind. In fact, our mind's like an elephant that's very, very stubborn. We tell our minds, okay, if I just want to go say hi, I just do it. Right? Like, if I just want to go say hi, I tell my mind, oh, I just want to go say hi. Yeah, I go do it. I'm in control. Yeah, I'm cool. I'm in control. Oh, weird. My brain just told me to go to the bathroom. So my brain just told me to go to the bathroom. But wait a sec. I thought I was going to go talk to someone. Why did my brain just tell me to go to the bathroom? And why did I think it was real? And why did I listen? That's the derping. That's the unconsciousness. So the elephant in the rider analogy would say, you've got to be this elephant rider. Maybe you put a little carrot out there and the elephant moves. So it's kind of like, okay, I can recognize that I'm not in a high willpower state right now. I'm not highly awake. Maybe I say hi to somebody on the way in. Maybe I joke around a little bit. Maybe I find enjoying the process. Maybe I stack little wins. Now my prefrontal cortex is waking up and 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 waking up. And now by the time I do that, I'm in so much momentum that not only can I go say hi, but I could even be from across the bar and doing that whole sequence that I was saying of just that perfect social calibration, because what's happened is that I've freed up mental bandwidth, right? Because you say to yourself right now, yeah, this is all cool, Owen, but I don't even know what to say. I don't even know where to start. I have anxiety. Yeah, I get that. Because your mental bandwidth is so stuck in derping that you can't come up with this. As I'm speaking to you right now, it's easy for me to speak to you right now relatively. Why is that? Because what I've done is I've stopped caring about all that stuff and I've freed up energy. You're viewing me as a polished public speaker who had to learn how to public speak. Yes, that is definitely true, but there's another side of it that I view it as, which is I'm somebody who unburdened myself of derping and autopilot and being unconscious and being asleep and being paranoid about what people think. I unburdened myself of that for 2 decades to the point that if I just want to talk to you right now, I just say, hey, I want to talk to you right now, and my mind is only focused on that one thing. And because my mind is only focused on that one thing, I have 50x the power and focus to talk to you directly because I've unburdened my mind. But if your mind is burdened by all this weight and trauma and derping and asleepness and wanting to be told what to do and yada, 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 yada. Well, then, of course, it's like, am I attractive enough? I don't know what to say. I can't do it. Well, of course, from that paradigm, you're right. Whatever you believe to be true is right. You're probably right. You probably can. You probably can't talk and talk. You probably don't have off-the-cuff humor. You probably don't have social collaboration. You probably don't have social awareness. You're trapped in your head because you're too burdened. It's probably all true. You probably do need some kind of weird crutch. You probably do, because that's where you're at. You are right. But you've got to start unspooling all of that and showing what your actual potential is. You have so much potential, you have no idea. So again, in summary, look, you could use this in anything. You could use it in diet by recognizing where maybe if you miss sleep, you eat the wrong foods, and recognizing where your willpower is. Maybe if you don't pack a healthy meal, you get too hungry later, you eat the wrong foods. Recognizing that, right? Simple thing. Leaving bread on the table, you're gonna eat it. Recognizing that, that's that execution game. You could use it in business and looking at every little aspect of your business and where that falls off. I do this all day, all night, all the time. And by the way, if you can become a leader yourself, you can lead others, which is beautiful. Build systems, make millions of dollars is great. And like I said, this whole idea of execution, you can do it socially by recognizing, where is my willpower right now? How can I stack small wins and get into a flow state and build upon that willpower? And then how can I get so much mental consciousness, mental awakeness, autonomy, and execution that I'm overpowering the derp? And once you do that, life just gets really good. Final thought. It's also an important one. What I truly believe is that we live in, I kind of jokingly call it this, I call it the satanic entertainment system. This doesn't mean you don't have to be in the Bible. I just love that name. Why? What does the satanic entertainment system represent? It represents food that has no nutrition in it that dumbs down your brain. Sleep patterns to where you're sleeping when your body doesn't naturally want to sleep, and alarms forcing you to have to take stimulants in the day, which then makes it hard for you to sleep at night. So now your brain's undernourished, your brain is underslept. Attention span depleting media that is going to cause you to have a lower attention span. Demoralization socially, both demoralization that national enemies pump into our national conversation, which happens because we do have freedom, so then we have that conversation, but there's a mass demoralization occurring, as well as demoralization that occurs from so many different angles that frankly I'd have to make a whole separate video on it and have. So we get demoralized. Heroes and role models who are basically degenerative, that are taking away any inspiration that we have. We live in a system that basically encourages us to be numb and encourages us to be an autopilot and not to want to have to think, to the point that if I ask you right now, what is 12 times 13? You're probably mad. Like, you did 12 times 12 in grade school, but you're mad if I ask you 12 times 13, right? Because you have to think. We get cortisol every time that we have to think. And so the system, it takes our laziness and our selfishness. Two qualities that are important. It's good to be lazy sometimes, right? For self-care, for recovery. Good to be selfish, right? To have boundaries. But it takes those two natural tendencies that are important, and what it does, it greases the skids that we're almost watering those and kind of nurturing those to the point that we get so lazy and selfish that we want to be on autopilot. We're so demoralized, low sleep, low nutrition, low attention span, low everything, and we just want to be told what to do. We saw this so much in the past year, to the point that you could say, you know, the establishment could come in and say, 2 + 2 = 5, and people are so whacked out, they're like, 2 + 2 = 5. Yes, master, 2 + 2 is 5. Almost as this weird sort of tribal affiliation that you say things that you know aren't true, just to show that you fit in and comply. So we're seeing so much of that. Becoming an executor is a personal decision to break out of that mold. It's a personal decision to say, you know what? I'm going to reclaim my mind and autonomy from this idea of, you know, derping and being out of it and being passive. I'm going to reclaim that, and I'm going to learn to be an executor as a sort of an active meditation, an engagement meditation to reclaim my body, to reclaim my mind, and to reclaim my soul. Okay, so we made it out here. We just hiked 3 hours in the dark, and completely worth it. What an experience. Happy to be out here with my kids. Show them not to be fearful. Saw a couple rattlesnakes on the way in. Heard coyotes one. Although I guess you can argue anything. But yeah.
Of course I was. Like, no, my mom never like pushes me like this, but only you do, and it's not like really like not that much of like this happens.
Yeah. Now, do you feel a sense of pride for getting out here and not giving up?
Well, of course I do. It's like, why? I just like, I wanted to quit and like, all this stuff. Like, look at all these beautiful rocks, and I was gonna bail out just because it's like so dark. And it's very scarce like coyotes. So I could literally beat up one with his bare hands because it's like you're just sitting there in your home and like, I'm too scared. But look at where I am. Look at where I am right now. Just like, I'm over here and you're just scared at home. Probably better watching TV or doing something like this productive.
Amazing.
So this is like where I like came. This is like what I came for. Which is like, as I was saying, I'm glad I didn't bail out. And so it's like, here's like some of the rocks I came for. It's like beautiful, isn't it? Like I came for this. It's like you should still go on like adventures. You know, maybe go outside and do stuff. It's okay if you might not be able to like afford like things luxurious as this, but just like maybe just like a walk around your neighborhood. That'll like keep the cheek up, or go like to like a local park or something, and maybe take your dog for a walk or cat for a walk. Just no. And don't just be scared of the street right now. You should always go outside and do stuff. Like, it always helps you. Because you can't just like be sitting on the couch going TV like, I'm burning. Yeah, it's like derping. It's like you can't be like doing that. You can't just be derping. You should go outside, do stuff, go to like buildings, maybe go to a local restaurant or somewhere. And maybe book the outside tables. Go on a trip if you can. Go to a roller coasters. Go to Six Flags Magic Mountain. What am I saying? Ah!
Amazing.
And I love you all.